Rockeyez would like to welcome Michael, guitarist from Martyrd. Hey man, what's up? What's going on?
Good, man. How you guys doing?
Great, great. Tell me a little bit about the background of your guitar work, because I mean, I listened to And You and I, and the music there is more progressive than Martyrd, and so you must have a classical or jazz background.
Well, And You and I is actually a completely different band. I don't actually play guitar for And You and I. I play bass.
No,
with
bass.
And You and I.
Yeah, yes.
So, And You and I is something I play with my some of my best friends growing up. It's a completely different thing. It's something we have a lot of fun doing. But it's definitely not, metal in any sense of the word. It's very like proggy, very kind of like classic rock. We're named after a Yes song, if that tells you anything.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, my background playing guitar, I grew up listening to Metallica, listening to Megadeth, Testament, Overkill. So I really grew up with the original thrash metal titans, pretty much,
Right.
And I learned to play by covering their songs and coming up with my own stuff. And I did take lessons for a while from Rob Balducci. He's a shred guitarist. He lives here in New York also, and he's on Steve Vai's label, and he's a really cool guy. He was able to really kind of help me expand my knowledge of theory and really connect the fretboard in ways that I hadn't learned how to do before.
Cool, cool. Yeah, well, you're talking about all them bands. I'm very familiar with all them bands because I was a staff photographer for a metal magazine called Metal Forces. Actually, they called it the Bible of Metal. And,
cool.
All them bands you mentioned, I photographed many times and stuff like that. I mean, that was a tremendous era, back in that late 80s and stuff like that. Not just hair metal. I mean, hair metal didn't compare to thrash and everything else, but it all mixed in and worked out really good for the 80s at least, and now it's a lot of generic stuff's out right now, but Martyrd is a little bit different.
Well, thanks.
I mean, I love thrash metal, I love regular rock and stuff like that, but Martyrd brings a little bit different element to the masses. And do you contribute that to songwriting or what?
Well, I mean, we all have our own influences that we look up to and that we try and emulate and this and that. But at the end of the day, we're not trying to be a new wave thrash metal band. We're not trying to be the next Metallica or anything. We're just writing music that we want to write. We want to make it our own one way or another. So I think even if we sat down and wrote a song and it came out and we're just like, that sounds just like a Testament song, I don't think we'd even be happy with it. We love Testament, but
Right.
we don't want to be them.
Right.
We have our own kind of destiny we're reaching towards, you might say. But yeah, it's really just comes down to that. We really want to leave our own unique flavor in everything we do. We want it to be us.
Right. Right. And definitely, Maniac, which came out in 2008, really, when you jump to the Mortal Coil in 2012, you really made, there was a big difference in the sound, and now it's even more, progressing, as the band. And me listening to the 3 tracks that I heard this morning, Faceless, Pain of Reason, and Sinner, all 3 sounded good to me.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, Maniac was really a very, very thrashy album. A lot of those songs we had written, for a very long time. And like I said, we grew up listening. I mean, and me in particular, me and the other guitar player, Dan, we grew up listening to the thrash metal. And I mean, that's what really came out at the time. The Mortal Coil, we were a little more refined. We were kind of growing up a little bit more. And I mean, it's funny you mentioned You and I, because playing with You and I, it gives me a completely different perspective. It was like a progressive kind of thing going on. And so a lot of the stuff we were writing for the Mortal Coil kind of got that progressive flavor and influence on it, So, I mean, Pain of Reason and Sinner, those are 2 tracks from the Mortal Coil. Those are definitely heavy, kind of straightforward tracks, but there are other tracks on there that are definitely way more progressive.
Right.
And then moving forward with the new stuff, as you can hear with Faceless, the new single we just released, we're trying to just get a little heavier and keep our own vibe and our own flavor, but we want to try and, reach a modern audience as well.
Right, right. With the the music scene being so oversaturated right now, is it really hard to make a kind of impact? I mean, maybe locally, you're out there all the time, but everybody has jobs and stuff like that, and you really can't leave, the elements and stuff like that. Do you feel like maybe, downloads is the way to go these years, or not really?
Well, I mean, it's not 1985 anymore. You know, I mean, digital is a huge, huge tool, and I mean, you'd have to be crazy to ignore it. But I mean, at the same time, literally everybody's online. You can go online and you can, you know, make 10,000 fans on Facebook. But how many of those 10,000 fans are actually going to come out and see you live and you know, buy a shirt or buy a CD,
right,
or just hang out with the band and you know, really contribute to your physical, real world, you know, thing.
Right.
The opposite end of that is that if you go out and find those people that are out there, you're guaranteed they're definitely going to be online. You're
right.
going to find them there. So I mean, you ask about making an impact, and I mean, that's something that we're pretty good at when we're playing live. We have a very high energy show. People get into what we're doing. We really incorporate the crowd because I mean, it's not about us. It's about them. It's about what we can do for them. What feelings can we incite in them? Can we get them to go crazy? You know, can we get them to, you know, we've had people crowd surfing in a bowling alley.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. I think we broke a ceiling vent actually. We haven't been back there in a while, but I mean, that's what it's really about. So when we're in front of people, we definitely do our best to make an impact, and I think we do a pretty decent job of that. And you know, not to wag my own tail or anything, but the hardest part is just getting in front of those people in the first place. Because, like you said, there's so many bands, and if we're playing here in our local area, yeah, we've done okay around New York. But if we go out of state, you know, we go to, you know, South Carolina or something, or Philadelphia, or just wherever, somewhere far enough away that we're not bringing our usual crowd, we really have to make sure that we're picking the right bands to play with, that they're, you know, in the same mindset that we are, bringing people out and trying to do everything they can to make every show successful.
Right, right. Now, you hooked up with Chipster recently, I guess, and that's how we hooked up with this interview. How'd that happen?
Well, we just went on tour with Yngwie Malmsteen this past May.
Right.
And Chip was doing the PR for the Malmsteen, well, for Ethan Brosh, who's one of the other bands on the Malmsteen tour, and we saw, you know, everything he was getting done for Ethan, and Ethan was a cool guy, but he was getting tons and tons of press and interviews, and we said, hey, this guy's doing really good work. We should talk to him, you know, try and get something going, and we did. And Chip has been, you know, a really awesome guy, really easy to talk to, totally understands what we're trying to accomplish, and he's been very, very helpful in helping us reach our goals.
Now, you're working on, I know you have Faceless out right now, and, you know, it's, I guess, a live video type thing?
Yeah, it's a music video. We basically, we had this warehouse here in Queens that we went inside, we cleaned it up. We had these huge windows we had to cover up with tarps because they wanted to control the lighting and stuff, and
right.
We went in and we shot the video in a day. And we shot the video with Anthony Lapardo. He's a producer over at Westfall Recording Company in Long Island. That's actually where we recorded the song also, so he helped us with the tracking and the recording, and it was mixed by his partner, Raymond Martyrd, and he also shot the video and did the editing for that, and I mean, I'm very pleased with the work he did on everything.
Right, yeah, I watched it this morning. It was very interesting. As a matter of fact, I watched it a couple times, so you know. Are you working on a full-length CD now, or what's up?
We are. Faceless is kind of like a one-off thing because we hadn't released an album since 2012. We've been really concentrating on going out and expanding our fan base, playing out as much as we could. And we really felt that we owed it to our fans and all our new friends that we've met throughout this whole touring period to give them something new before the year was out. So we went in and recorded this song and just gave them something new. And we're working on a third album right now. That's going to be the follow-up to The Mortal Coil. And just figuring out schedules and when we're going to be able to record it, hopefully around the, you know, springtime, so we can get out on the road again for the summer.
Wow. Now, you live in New York City, right?
Yeah, I live in Queens.
Right. Oh, okay. What's like a normal day then? You know, do you practice every day? Do you do a day job? What's up?
Yeah. I'm a used car salesman, actually.
I'm looking for a car.
Oh yeah. Well, hit me up. We'll make it happen. But yeah, man. I mean, one way or another, I spend a lot of time with the band. I don't spend as much time playing guitar for myself as I would like, but I did definitely. It's very rare a day goes by without my fingers hitting the strings, you know.
Right.
So typical day, I guess. I wake up, I go to work. I get out of work about 8 o'clock, and either I'm going to be heading into the studio to jam with the guys until the wee hours of the morning, or I'm going to be practicing myself, recording, putting together ideas, and just doing everything I can to keep this thing going.
Wow. And like in the early days, was it always guitar that you wanted to play? And like, how'd you get your first guitar, and what was it, and stuff like that? Tell me a little bit about that.
Actually, I wanted to get a drum set, but my parents were like, no way are you giving this kid a drum set. So one Christmas I had asked for a drum set, and instead I got a little acoustic guitar.
Right.
And I played the crap out of that thing, and for my birthday a few months after that, I got an electric, my first electric, and I started, just learning Metallica songs, and I must have learned, like, I think I learned Metallica's first 4 albums or something like that. I spent so much time listening to Metallica, and I listened to some Megadeth, and I started learning some Megadeth and Testament, and Testament was one of my all-time favorites. That's what really, really got my interest, was Alex Skolnick. He's such a monster.
Right.
He's an amazing guitarist.
Wow. What's the future hold for 2014 for the band?
Well, the first step is figuring out the recording schedule, seeing how we're going to track. At the very least, we have one more song that we want to release as a single, and we're going to see when we can get in and do that. But we do have an album. I'd say it's about 80% done at this point. Just a couple of things need to be finished, and then we're ready to hop in and lay it down. Other than that, we have some touring planned for the spring, for early March. We can't really talk about it yet,
right?
Because it's not confirmed. But as soon as we know 100%, trust me, you'll be seeing it and hearing it everywhere. We'll be very happy to tell you guys.
Cool.
And we got something else we're working on for the spring also that might take us out of the country. So we'll see what happens with that. Again, we can't really speak about it.
Right.
So basically everything is, I can't tell you anything. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
Do you feel like Europe is really, the thrash metal now capital, of the world?
I feel like the thing about Europe is, like, I think recently I read there was a tour with something like Amon Amarth and Blue Oyster Cult on the same bill, or something like, or a festival or something.
Right.
And it's like they're just so much more like, the genre doesn't matter as much. It's just people going out looking for a good time with good music, And
right.
that's something that I really appreciate.
Right.
Because, we've played with a lot of bands. We've played with everybody in here in the U.S. We've played with bands like Children of Bodom and God Forbid to Sonata Arctica to Deicide to the Misfits.
That's
just
diversity.
Different. Yeah, exactly. It's all over the place. And we can kind of tailor the songs we choose to play in our sets to the bands we're playing with, but still, it's always kind of a little bit of a toss-up, especially like the Deicide show, the death metal guys. Some of them were really like looking at us with an interesting eye, that was something.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, we were backstage, and these guys are practicing their death metal vocals and rolling their eyes back and on like Dead Jesus face paint, and my singer's there warming up his voice going, I can show you the world, and we're like, oh God, we're gonna get killed.
Oh yeah, especially with Benton with that burnt cross in his head upside down.
Yeah.
Oh shit,
yeah.
Scared the shit out of me.
But it was good. The show was fun, and the crowd still dug it.
Cool, that's great. When you could like do some crossover stuff like that, it definitely helps build a new fan base for the band.
Absolutely.
So,
that's our biggest goal.
Wow.
Just reach as many people as we can.
So when's the plans to have the new CD out?
I would say, really, just probably early summer. If we can get the recording done in the springtime, we want to make sure we have our album ready to go for the summer and just get out and tour. It's the best time of year to be on the road. That's when people are out the most, and the weather's beautiful, and as opposed to now, we've got like 6 inches of snow on the ground out here, and.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm in Jersey, so I got the same what you got.
Yeah, I'll bet. The last thing we want to do is have a 7-hour drive with 6 inches of snow on the ground.
Definitely not. Well, I appreciate you talking to me, Michael, and I wish you the best. I can't wait for the new CD. We'll support it definitely. And would you like to say anything to the fans out there?
Yeah, just thank you. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for supporting us. Thanks for listening. And keep it tuned. We're coming back at you very soon.
Cool. Thanks very much, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Brian.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.